Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. PSR is excited to present to you Last Call, featuring your boy, the pimp slap POD, Mike M.
Pimpin' ain't easy, but it's fun like money. Got bookies on the run, now it's time to get money. Not your typical way to ball. It's last call like some convicts waiting on the next draw. You can feel the tension. Did I mention? Fools better pay attention, cause we getting paid like a pension. T's on the ones and twos, we not the ones that lose. Mike, money's killers, Mike even make the even news.
And now, let's get to the picks.
We be pumping!
Sports Radio, you know we be pumping!
What up? Welcome in. It's Last Call here on Pub Sports Radio. It's Thursday, March the 7th, and March Madness is underway. I hope you guys are getting excited. I'm getting fired up just thinking about the games ahead. Many conference games now underway here. We've got semifinals in some of the smaller brackets, the A-Sun and such. And, of course, we're going to have more as we finish off the SEC, the Big Ten, the Big 12. I'll wrap it up here, getting ready to do their thing in the next couple of days as well. We got a great card tonight. We've got the NHL, a full action-packed NHL slate tonight. I want to say there's 12 games on the card tonight, so lots to dig into via the NHL. And, of course, we've got college hoops today. We got our boy C-Mac coming in, our Thursday resident here to Last Call to give us his best looks in college hoops. And the NBA, of course, we've got NBA on deck. Nice little night tonight. We've got some player props lined up in the NBA. We've got, I think there's like a six-pack of games here in college hoops. And, of course, the NHL, where we will start things off, has been oh so good to us, trying to get it rolling here. Although last night wasn't the best night for us. Only a three-game card. I mentioned, one dog winning and two favorites. Wrong dog there. I thought Buffalo was going to get the job done off the hop. They did not get it done. We'll get to all that in due time, but you guys already know the deal. You're getting out of work. You're getting home trying to figure out what's for dinner, trying to figure out what you're going to have for a cocktail. Let's try to figure out together the games that we need to get our cash on tonight to stack this bankroll high. Time to go high and let it fly. I'm excited about everything that is the month of March. It's going to be so much fun the next couple of weeks digging in here. And, last call, last minute place selections, all kinds of fun stuff happening, including tonight again. So we're going to have some last minute ads on the card. Just things that just finally worked their way into the window that we needed, if you will. The models triggering off based on last minute movement. And those are the pieces that we're trying to capture to get it done. So appreciate everybody dropping in tonight. Going to be a great show. Going to be a lot of content for you guys here. And you know the deal. We ask you to do three things. Smash the thumbs up button for us. Hit the like if you like the content. You're enjoying what you're seeing on the regular. You're making some cash with us. Then help us crack this code that is 6 o'clock. And show your support. Show your love. Let us know that you're here enjoying what we're doing by giving that thumbs up button. Takes you just a second. In fact, let's all take a look down right now. Is the thumbs up button pushed? If it's not, give it a quick click. The second thing we're going to ask you guys to do is grab pen and paper. It's time to write down not just the plays from the panel here, myself and C-Mac, but the chat, baby. So sharp and getting sharper by the day. Love seeing what you guys are doing. Love working on what we're building here together, collectively, as a community. Everyone's built on positive vibes, getting that cash, sharing their best looks. And, of course, we want you to share your best looks in the chat. We will do our best to recognize all of them here. We've got a big card to go through, so we got to keep it tight. We got to keep that brisk pace, as our guy Pete Loshak likes to say. And let's see what's doing in this chat. We'll let some folks get in and get settled down before we push off the docks and push the boat down the stream here. But we've got Joe T, first guy in the house. Love to see my guy Joe T out there. That's commitment. It's not just once or twice. First guy in here on the regular, our guy Joe T says, what up? Let's get that cash. I gave out best bet on Jimmy's show and cashed easy. You were on it also under in the Belmont game. Let's go. I gave it out at 153. Easy casher. Made me a little nervous. About 7 minutes into that game, that live line was up to like 170. I was like, oh, no, what happened here? But they came through. They got it done exactly as we expected, Joe T. Shout out to you, my guy. Always love cashing with you, especially when we're on the same side, seeing it the same way. He says he's going to have another one for us in a little bit, so you're going to want to stay tuned for that. Robert Martin says 26-2, Pacific taking a thumping. I'm a little disappointed, I got to say, with Jimmy's show this afternoon here. I was expecting to go roll right through the rip all these early games, including that 5 o'clock game. I was all over Pacific, but what are you going to do? Coulda, woulda, shoulda, didn't, and we'll leave that one out there for the people, but they are getting roasted now, Pacific. That season's just about toast out there. Robert Martin, good on you, my guy. Rick J in the house. Wish I had added Pepperdine to the parlay. Yeah, I mean, hindsight's 20/20, right? And here's that parlay he's talking about. Suns, Kings, Warriors is only minus 115. Need another team for our guy Rick J to complete that parlay. I think he's trying to get that thing to some plus money, and he's just about there. Robert Martin says, Pacific, just come to Canada and play in our university system up here. Our guy north of the border trying to do some recruiting there. That should be the relegation process, right? If you're that bad in college hoops, then hey, migrate north there. Let the friends north of the border enjoy some college hoops as well. The university, as they call it there. The Futon Bets in the house is Pistons money line. What's up, buddy? Let's get this cash. It's great to see you, Futon Bets. Let's roll out there. Robert Martin says also on that Miami Heat. And there's Court Wiley. Mikey money. Let's get this cash today. Bo Jackson, my guys in the house. Patrick Burns is up in here. He says best bet over 146.5 in the IPFW Oakland game. There's our boy Jay Peasy locking down the intro. Best intro on Pub Sports Radio. Maybe on all of YouTube. I don't know. We'll see there. Keep trying to replicate what we're doing here, Jay Peasy. No one does it quite like us, and it starts by you laying down sick track there to get this thing kicked off for us. We appreciate you, my guy. Thank you for coming in, rocking with us here. Winner Circle says, hey, yo, Kyrie Irving over 29.5 points and assists tonight. Excuse me. Nut Flush Allen's in the house. Our guy, the team total whisperer. He whispered out yesterday, Memphis team total over. Hopefully you wrote it down and got that cash with us, my guy, Nut Flush Allen. It's great to see you. Rick J asked, is Luka playing? We'll take a look. There's still some time before that injury update gets kind of pressed out, so we'll see what happens. There's Darius Moore in the house. And, of course, our guy T on the ones and twos. Bookie's going to lose, baby. Let's go. Rocking it, keeping it tight and right for all of us. Michael P in the house and Jay Smooth. There he is with the smooth balls. Play of the day. You got to keep him smooth. And our guy Jay Smooth's helping with just that. Stetson minus 5.5 for the smooth balls play of the day. BT's in the house says family and talk sports with JT's up there. Oli, Nut Flush Allen, my guy. Appreciate all you guys here. Darius Moore says Marshall money line tonight. We're going to talk about that game. Talk sports with JT, giving the shout out back to Nut Flush out there. And there's Justin McKelvey. He likes the UCLA Bruins at +9 for the stacks. Play of the day for our guy, Justin. Brett Cook, Pepperdine doing them dirty. Yeah, that's about as ugly as it gets. JPC, though, the voice of reason. Our guy JPC says, relax. It's the first half. We can't cash those tickets just yet, but 2 points, Peasy? I mean, 2 points, my guy. What happened there? Let's go. Juggler 23 says, here's his action. He's on that Utah Tech -4.5. UCLA +9. Wisconsin -10. Likes that Vegas Golden Knights spot. Arizona, Minnesota under 6.5 goals. And the Warriors -7.5 says, let's go. Indeed, let's go here. BT says, the intro is fire. My guy, it gets me going, man. No matter what mood I'm in, as soon as I hear that going out there, it gets my head nodding, baby. Wine Time Sports. I saw your comments there about the Airbnb, my guy. I'm going to hook up with you, and we will talk about that. Swin says we be pubbing. Let's roll. Wine Time says loaded NBA card for him today. And there's my guy, Dan, in the house there, holding it down over across the, I guess that's another whole hemisphere right there. You're over there in Australia, my guy, keeping it right out there. Dash Moore says, I like the Minnesota Wild. Let's go. Let's talk about this here. So we'll start off with the recap. We'll get things rolling as we move on through, and then we'll jump into the NHL before we welcome in our guy, C-Mac. You know, he's doing the same thing I was just doing before the show, making sure we get those bets in. We can't just give them out to you guys. We got to get them played ourselves here. And, sometimes you want to wait for the best move. And so that will be the case. But we will get him in when the time is right. And look, I kind of started this thing off here. Not kind of, but I did. Last night was a terrible night in the NHL. 0-2. We lost that Sabres game. They were right there. I mean, was it overtime, right? They lost in OT. They were right there. +160 was right there. We just couldn't bring it home. Sons of guns. Ottawa, Colorado. Colorado got their job done. Should have gone with Colorado -1.5. Coulda, woulda, shoulda, didn't. That was 2 losses in the NHL. You know that bothers me. Just know that bothers me with losing two of the only two spots in the NHL. But we're going to work harder tonight to get that back. Then we went on a little run. We had a little 2-0 spot there, the mini sweep in college hoops. Tennessee State, we got that plus money spot there. And then UCF. Actually, I'm sorry, it was -3, I believe was the number. And then UCF. Covered by the hook, but it still pays the same. Nice little 2-0 spot out there in college hoops. And we opened up in the NBA. I will say that the shitbag open-up spot of the night last night was that Clippers game. First half and full game. And they couldn't come back and at least cover the hook with the 6.5. Yeah, that was 2 losses there in the NBA. It hurts. It hurts because we had, Atlanta -2.5. We had Golden State -3. We had Sacramento +3. We even got that Utah Jazz, the intersecting zeros point there at 223. Some nice wins out there in the NBA, but just not enough. We lost the same game or the player prop parlay. I'm laughing because it was Harden over 7.5 assists. He got 7. It was Draymond Green over 7.5 rebounds. He got 7. A lot of merit in buying those things down a point or a spot or two. I saw a couple of them tonight. I just ultimately didn't pull the trigger. I've got one standalone player prop in the NBA, and it's actually part of a game that we're going to be involved with here. And I'm excited because it's plus money spot. It's nice and juicy, and it makes a lot of sense by the number. So, it is what it is. That's a 6-5 day. It was profitable. We made almost a unit despite despite not having some of the best results, specifically in that Clippers game. Man, that spot there. Whatever. It is what it is. No use crying over spilt milk, but it chaps my ass. Just know that. 0-2 in the NHL and then taking those 2 losses there. That's how you ruin a perfectly situated card. Got to be more careful with these last-minute ads. But that being said, we're going back at it tonight. We're not scared. You're scared? Go to church, as they say out there. Darius Moore says, don't forget East Carolina first half detailed. Yeah, listen. That live stream was fire, man. We were kicking ass and taking names there. Yeah, East Carolina +7 gets the money line done. There was a couple other live spots that we picked up there on the live stream. And then, of course, Cal Northridge, the late night special came through for us. What was that? +4.5 and +7, I think it was out there. So let's roll. And, of course, Nutflesh says, last night, books, cock block, my team totals with unbettable juice. Gave you team totals yesterday on clips in chat, but I think you missed it. Damn, not Flesh Allen. Would have been nice to cash something in that game there instead of taking off the 0-2. But look, that's going to happen. We do this on the daily. It's a grind, and some days are going to be better than others here. We continue to put the work in, knowing that if we put the effort in, the results will follow. So let's get this going tonight here. Lace the skates up, grab your hockey sticks, and let's get on the ice. It's time to do some damage to these bookies tonight. I'll tell you, there is going to be an ad for this window tonight. And there's going to be a couple of spots that maybe make your eyeballs pop out of your head. So let's get rolling here. Let's dive in and open up the show tonight. Game number 1, Philadelphia Flyers and the Florida Panthers. Interesting little spot. The Panthers have been so good to us here. And I don't want to get in the way of it. They're just kicking ass, man. They're -235s tonight, 245s in some books out there. All the cash is coming in. And it makes sense. That's the right play. Philadelphia's been making some trades. They're going to continue to make trades. They've got another one that's been brewing, and they're still trying to get it done. I thought it was with Anaheim. So stay tuned to this Philly and Ducks news. But in the meantime, we got ourselves a little bit of action on this game here. And if you look at these 2 goaltenders, we're going back to the number 1s. Ersson, the default number 1, because of what's happened there in the goaltending carousel in Philadelphia, 17, 12, and 5. And then there's SpongeBob, Sergei Bobrovsky, 31, 11, and 2. Pretty comparable. I'll say comparable. 2.57 goals against average for Ersson, 89.9% save percentage. 2.29 goals against average, 91.8% save percentage for SpongeBob Bobrovsky. And, you may not recall, but this is a little bit of a revenge spot for Bobrovsky, as he used to be a Philadelphia Flyer. I don't know how these guys come into Philly, they play well, and then they ship them on out, and they go back and they continue to restart day in and day out. They got to do something with this defense. I know they're making moves, and they're trying to make trades at the deadline for defense, but look, Florida team, I talked about it, red hot. 5-3 win on the road against the Devils, 4-2 win on the road against the Rangers, 4-0 shutout win against Detroit. They took down Montreal on their home ice 4-3 and Buffalo 3-2. I'm going to channel that Buffalo game here. This is the first game back for the Florida Panthers after that 3-game road trip. It's also the first game on the road for this Philadelphia Flyers team. And, kind of hit or miss depending on the type of night we're going to get from the Philadelphia Flyers. They lose 2-1 to St. Louis the other night. Okay. 1 goal scored there. They win 4-2 against Ottawa. There's a 4-pack. They lose 5-2 on the road to Washington. Road spot there that kind of jumped out at me because I think in terms of the way these two teams are playing in Washington and Florida, they're both playing pretty hot right now. So I'm going to use those two as I kind of channel this thing to decide that the first play for me on the card tonight is the under 6 in this Philadelphia game. Now, I will be sick to my stomach if we see this thing open up right off the gate and there's 3 goals in the first period. But I don't suspect that to happen. In fact, when you look at these two teams, in the trend I'm about to share with you guys, this first period is under 1 goal. So I do expect this first period to be lower scoring. You can get the under 1.5 goals at plus 102s out there right now. I'm going to go full game. I'm going to go with the under 6, and I got it at minus 103. This is just a straight Florida on Thursday spot here. 1-11-2 to the under, but it's the margin that we sift through day in, day out, trying to find the best opportunities. This is how we can talk about why we think teams are live dogs. This is why we can say that even though the numbers have moved, it doesn't scare us. This trend has a margin of 2.25 goals on average with a line of 6.3. The total scores we're seeing in these games, 2.4 to 1.8. That's going to give us the opening play on the NHL card tonight. We're looking at Philly, Florida, and we're going to go with this under 6 at minus 103 to get things rolling here. I see our guy Bo Jackson likes that Bruins money line. I like that spot too, Bo. Interesting enough, the Bruins own Toronto. It's like they can't see they're Toronto's kryptonite, and Toronto's been playing pretty hot right now. So that should be a fun game to watch. And there's Nasty Nate says Celtics smash. Where's that second quarter play, Nasty Nate? Let's go. Get that up there. Don't let us down. Nanya says, hey, Matt Complex in the house says, I love taking the points versus AU. Is that gold? Is that an element from the periodic table? I'm sure I can think about it if I just have another second or two to figure it out, but appreciate you, Mac Complex in the house. Gerald Jones on Pepperdine up 47-7. That's ridiculous. Call mercy. I mean, just stop it already. Get the refs out there, and for the safety of these players, get them off the court. Cameron Sinit says, damn it, late the last call, got caught up smashing peppers, baby. Well, you just one play down here. We're opening the card up with this Philly under 6. Let's roll onward. We've got a lot of plays to get into tonight. Lots of cash opportunities out there. We want to make sure you guys have plenty of time to do it. And not to worry. I guess maybe there is a little worry here with the NBA. I do have a 7 o'clock spot, but we'll get back to that. We got time. We got plenty of time. We just got to keep this brisk pace rolling tonight. Game number 2, 7 o'clock Eastern. Out here, we're going to hone in on this Edmonton Oilers, Columbus Blue Jackets game. And kind of the process and the way that I go about capping these things is I look for the trends first, right? I try to find the ones that kind of jump out and make the most sense to me based on how I know these teams are playing. Then I overlay the goaltenders in there next. And so when I kind of see, I want to kind of have an independent, panel or evaluation between the trends and then the goaltenders. And then I looked at this Edmonton game and I was like, hell yeah, let's go. And we're going to go with this Edmonton over 6.5. We've got Calvin Pickard in goal for the Edmonton Oilers. 8-3 on the record. Pretty stand-up guy there. Minus 267 money line, though. And the minus 1.5 is minus 110. The challenge I had with the Oilers in this game is you don't know what team's going to show up for Columbus, and they've been finding the back of the net. They've got Tarasov going in there. Dan, I guess it is there. There's like 6 I's in that guy's first name. But Tarasov came off a pretty stand-up performance that last game. It was a 6-3 win against Las Vegas. 37 saves on 40 shots for this guy. Pretty freaking remarkable when you look back at what happened there. Vegas just not consistent enough, though, and I know some guys are looking to fade them today. Guys and girls are looking to fade them today. If you look back, though, here, we've got a spot. The last 3 games in a row have gone over for this Columbus team, and I think this Edmonton spot, these guys, the team total for Edmonton, not that I'm the team total whisperer here, but it's set at 4.5. So if Columbus is pushing pace and getting goals, and we've got Edmonton with a team total of 4.5, we should smoke this 6.5 here. What we've got is a pretty interesting situation where the home dog just came off a loss as a road dog, and the opponent picked up a win. 93-36 to the over in those spots. They're losing those games 3.1 to 3.9. Not enough of a margin to say, let's go in there and take the -1, the -1.5 for Edmonton, or even the regulations concern me because I could see a 3-3 game that goes into extra time here. But Over 6.5 is going to be the second play on the card. I know that's a JPZ special right there. You don't like them unders, but he'll get in on them overs, and hopefully he's getting in on that with us. So let's get rolling. Let's keep it moving. Al Cervix says, I've never seen 26-0 in a basketball game in my life. And then Nutflesh says, what's live bet against Pepper money line? It's got to be 50 grand. $100 will pay you 50K. I don't know. We'll see what happens there. Let's keep rolling, though. Voodoo Ranger, the 11-leg PSR Taylor's Delight. All picks with market moving towards them. Pick from the chat and betting with the bag. It's 76,000. Well, throw that shit in the chat, Voodoo Ranger. Let's see it, my guy. Let's go. I'm curious to see what an 11-leg parlay looks like out there. Hopefully it's just for fun. Be reasonable. Be responsible out there. Mal's in the house. What up, Mal? Says, Mike, we here in Colorado are so grateful to your Flyers. Yeah, you're welcome. Take our bags of shit and good luck with them. But no, you know what? I'm glad they're making moves, though, at the very least here. We've stacked up some trade picks as well here. Look at what Mark Tan, geez, I'm all over the place here. Danny Briere, the general manager, has done. He's got 2 first-round picks this year. He's got 2 first-round picks next year, and they keep rolling. So let's go on. Speaking of rolling, let's go big or stay home on this next game here. I was conflicted on how I wanted to share it. And then I said, you know what? I'm not scared. I believe in the numbers. Let's dig into this game and let's talk about it here. This next game we've got is going to take us out to the West Coast in an Islanders-Sharks matchup out there. Big matchup here between these two teams. And, you can argue what you want here about the Sharks and how bad they are. Look, the Islanders are playing well. No question about it right now. They got themselves a nice little 4-game win streak, 2 on the road against Dallas and Detroit. They take care of Boston 5-1 at home and St. Louis. But let's not forget, this Islanders team plays a defensive style. They have found some scoring as of late, but their coach got fired. They didn't get fired because they were kicking ass and taking names. They needed a change. They needed a new voice. I like that they got Patrick Waugh in there as the head man now, the head coach. But the Sharks team, lost. They got themselves, a 7-game losing streak going here. And then you look at the goaltenders, and we've got Ilya Sorokin at 21, 13, and 11. But 3.03 goals against average and a 90.9 save percentage. Then we've got Corona on the other side. I thought it was the coronavirus. It's Corona at 0-1-1. And he's putting out a 5.17 goals against average and an 85.1% save percentage. I laugh because it's not often I type in a 5 when it comes to the goals against average, but don't let that 5.17 goals against average fool you here. 3-2 loss against Dallas. Was Dallas expected to take the loss? And what does he do? He goes out there and he serves on the road ice. He goes out there and he stands up 36 saves on 38 shots against that Dallas team. Yeah, it was a 3-2 loss. But we got a tired Sorokin going in goal on the Islanders side. It's his 6th start in a row. Granted, he's been saving the Bucks. He's let in 3 or fewer goals 3 of his last 4 games. And that's how you go 4-0 if you're the New York Islanders. Strong goaltending performance out there. But, I screwed this one up. I wrote it shorthand here. Let me see if I can't just translate this on the fly. When your opponent in the second period had a total of 3 goals, with the biggest lead being, not being tied at all in that game off a loss. This is a spot where San Jose comes out and shines 26-9. And you go back and look at this Dallas game, 7-6. They definitely got their second period goals of 3 in that game out there. This one puts San Jose very much live in the bucket and the wheelhouse. The opponent coming off of an ineffective power play with 1 goal as well. Kind of dots the I on that mess. I wrote it out shorthand, so I apologize. But 26-9 in the spot for the San Jose Sharks. Also, 12-22 to the under. Lots of ways to dish this game up here. I ultimately chose to just put it out there on the table. I'm rolling big here. And we got this number dropping. Plus 245 now is the best money line I can get for the San Jose Sharks. Look, they're not going to lose them all. And I think this is a great opportunity based on a scoring game previously against an opponent with an ineffective power play. We're going to go out there and take the San Jose Sharks on their home ice, by the way, in a low-scoring affair here. I mentioned the scoring production or lack thereof that Sorokin's been holding opponents to. Very much correlates with that 6.5 and going on the under, 12-22 to the under. But I'm going for the big score. The plus 1.5 out there also is minus 105s, minus 104s, minus 102s. You could sprinkle, I guess there's a bunch of ways. I'm playing it with the money line here. I'm going for the Sharks at plus 245. That's my fuck it play of the day here. We're jumping in big with these boys to get it done. And big, I expect to cash out. When we go after these big dogs, we do end up hitting them. So I'm expecting to get this one done tonight. And then last but not least, I mentioned the word of the day here is added plays. I'm going to add a play. I'm doing it. We're going in. We are absolutely going in, and we're going to take advantage of this Minnesota-Arizona game. You look at what's going on with Minnesota, 3 losses in their last 4 games, not the best performance they've got going on out there. But if you're Arizona, how can you look yourselves in the mirror knowing you were a big favorite there, almost a minus 300 favorite, and you got smacked? You got Marc-Andre Fleury coming out there starting in goal at 12, 11, and 3 for Minnesota. You've got Karl Vejmelka on the other side at 8, 15, and 2. Lots of ways you could play this one. And I do like that Vejmelka's on a 2-game win streak, but I think this is just a spot where Minnesota's the better team. Minnesota's just off of a recent winning streak themselves. Marc-Andre Fleury's allowed 2 goals in each of his last 2 starts. It's good for 1-1. 24 saves on 26 shots and a 3-2 loss to the St. Louis Blues. So it's not from his lack of performance. It's just a combination of tough opponents and not scoring goals here. And I think the cure to that solution there, the medicine from the old doctor of the NHL here is going to be go out there and play an Arizona team. Also, when you're on the first game of a road trip and back-to-back spots off a win, you're 87 and 36 in those spots. So this is a great opportunity, in my opinion, for Minnesota. I'm going to pay the juice here. I'm going to take him at minus 140. Look, we talked about this the other day. Is it worth 15 cents to potentially push or lose the bet? No, I'm going to drop that juice out there at minus 140, and I'm going to take a little bit pricier spot tonight on the card, but I want this win. I feel it's still in the range to get it done, and I'm a little apprehensive that we could see a lower scoring 2-2 type of game that pushes this thing into overtime. I don't want the push. I certainly don't want the regulation loss. I'm just going to pay up a little bit to get what I think is this W with that 87 and 36 trend rolling in our direction. Let me text our boy, make sure he is ready to roll, and we will roll on indeed. Let's see what we've got going on here. We'll transition on over. While we wait for our guy to get ready to roll again. I'm sure he's just dropping a couple bets in, and away we will go. But in the meantime, we're going to start this card off in college hoops tonight. We're going back to him. We're going back to this Tennessee State team here against Western Illinois. It's a real interesting question that Jimmy the Bag had asked me earlier today. And he was like, do you believe in any of these dogs being able to go on there and march through the tournament? And I said, in some spots, yes, other spots, no. Tennessee State, though, is one of those spots I do believe in here. 70% of the bets, only 45% of the cash. Now, we've moved from 2s to 3s. So we've got Tennessee State, public banging away on this dog. But look, Western Illinois doesn't really shock and awe me here. This money line on the Western Illinois side's moved from minus 155 down to minus 142. 95% of the cash is on the Tennessee State money line there. Their full expectation with the bigger bettors, Tennessee State's going to pull ahead and get the job done. The totals dropped from 134.5 down to 132.5. They're flying in the blind as far as the cash, but we can see that 7 are on this under, suggesting a lower scoring game. Both these guys are coming off of unders as well. We did cash the other night there last night with that Southern Indiana spot there. What I like about this game most of anything here, we could talk about this conference, and we've got some more trends that kind of correlate in these rematch spots, which is why we were taking this Tennessee State team in the first place last night. But I'm going to choose to focus on the way they finished that game. They were down 3 points at halftime. They came back. They surged. The light switch went on. They won that game outright by 14 points. They were laying 3.5s and 4s, and they got out there and they kicked ass and they took names in that second half. And I love to see, especially in tournament play, tight turnaround here as they just played last night. When that team gets hot, I think that's how they start again. It wasn't like we dealt with an overtime situation or anything like that that should concern us about the legs. And if you look at this Western Illinois team, not shabby, right? We'll give them the not shabby brush. They're 20-11, in conference here. They're one of the better teams. But, the end of the day for me, I got to go back to this one. Let's not forget, we got that big son of a bitch there, 6'11", 300-pound Florida transfer. What did he do in that second half when they needed him last night? He did this. At 7 feet tall, you just put your hands up, you naturally block those balls. And that's exactly what he did. So We're going to go right back to it here. We're fading these leathernecks. We're going to take the +3. I don't think that there's, the money line comes through. That's fine. If you're trying to do like a big money line parlay or something like that, then by all means, fire that in there. But at +118s, +120s, +128s there, I want the 3 points in my back pocket here. I'm sure we don't need them. I think this team rolls on. If it does happen to be a 1-point game because they lose on a free throw at the end, I'm going to be sure damn glad I got it versus trying to make that extra 20 cents up by taking Tennessee State on the money line. It's tournament play. It's not one of those things. They got to put it all out there. You can't just roll up and not find a way to, try to get on top of this game, which does open up the vulnerability for lots of fouls and free throws at the end. That's where I do think that Tennessee State has the advantage. Both these teams are comparable when you look across their numbers, shooting, field goal effectiveness, and all the rest here. I think it's just a great spot for us to take the +3 and see Tennessee State keep on rolling in this conference tournament here. Let's go on to the next one here. I see Joe T in the house has added Tampa Bay Lightning. First period, -0.5 for our guy Joe T, and he's going +160. Shout out to you, Joe T, my guy. Can't do it personally. I can't do it. I've been bitten so many times by this fucking Tampa Bay team, but I will root for you. And there's our guy, Mickey the Mac. What up, Connor Mac, Daddy in the house? How are you?
Mikey, what's going on, my man? How you doing?
Hi. How are you?
I'm excellent. What's going on? What's going down?
Well, you are just in time. We just talked about this Tennessee State game.
Damn right, I'm not in time, brother.
I'm rolling with the dog, my guy. We're going Tennessee State tonight. I'm rolling back to him here at +3. Fuck Western Illinois and them Leathernecks. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I love it. I loved them last night. I wish it was a little bit more, but we know this Western Illinois team. You don't have to worry about them offensively. So them laying points is not something I want to be on. So I love the look. I love Tennessee State.
Yeah, I think, they got that big dude, man, that big son of a bitch Sasquatch there, almost 7 feet tall and 300 pounds, an immovable object. We saw that in the second half last night. And, he also was 100% for his free throw. So big dude, draws some fouls, goes out there. He's effective with it as well. Tough to block a guy like that. So let's roll on. Let's talk about your first game on the card here. We've got Nicholls State in Southeast Louisiana, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. This line open at 4. 71% of the bet, 75% of the cash on Nicholls State has dropped a half point. So it opened at 4. It's down to 3.5, which is what I guess you would expect with all that cash coming in on the road dog in that spot. The total, though, marginal movement at best, 138.5. So I guess there's some 139s out there with 83% of the cash on the over CMAC here. Nicholls State 17-13, Southeastern Louisiana Lions, baby. Take it away. Tell us what you think about this game.
Yeah, I'm not on a ton of totals today. It's going to happen, Mikey. I got my ass bit the last couple of days on the unders go to die with overtime. That ECU game was dead under, dead nuts, and wild shit. And one thing is going in these tournaments, I think, go more first half. The lines are sharp, but a lot of fouls, a lot of bullshit, a lot of free throws. It's just wildness. But I got to be on the over with these two teams here. 8 of the last 9, easily gotten over this number. And we see in these, in this conference, we just see overs and points being scored. Both offenses are very, very good. They play to an under, which I kind of like. Their first meeting, 66-61. I think we get more points tonight. Decent free throw shooting teams. These two, 72%, but they get to the line all right. They both shoot the 3 at a pretty good rate, around 37%. So I think those drop. I got 138.5. I had to be on it. Give me the over here. And real quick, I'd be on Nicholls or nothing. I think they'd be live here as the dog. If you want to play the side with the 3.5. Little revenge here for Louisiana SC, but I don't buy it. I don't want to lay points with them.
What I like most about this play there, first of all, they're giving us the blind information when it comes to the cash, right? They don't want it for whatever reason. They're not disclosing, but we can kind of determine or ascertain based on what we're seeing with the cash flow for the dog. We see that thing drop from 4 to 3.5. We see the cash coming in. They've moved that thing a point upward for the over and on some books.
Yep.
And we also have the buy low opportunity because you've got Southeast Louisiana and Nicholls State coming off of unders here. And Nicholls State's been a team that's been ripping overs the entire month of February into March here. So I like it. I think the dog keeps pace. I love the look too. I think Nicholls State is very much a live dog in the spot here. And I
agree. I think you want to put a little bit on that. And I love that both teams, you just mentioned it, off kind of bad shooting nights and unders. We can get to that. But they've been constantly overs, and all these numbers have been in the 140s, Mikey, when you look through this. So I get they think it'll be tighter, but I just think it was too low. When I saw the 138.5, I had to jump. I know it's moved to like 140.5. I still think you get over there. You take it.
I like it. Let's roll on. I've got an NBA that pops off at 7, so we want to keep a brisk pace, boys and girls. Here 8:30 Eastern here. I've got Marshall Georgia State game, baby. Marshall and Georgia State. I said it earlier. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to offend our guy Justin McKelvey here, but you guys know my proclivity for the state of Georgia. And that aside here, we've got 45% of the bets and 53% of the cash on this Marshall side of things. And we've got to move in that direction. So kind of a coin flip now. We've got minus 105s on the money line, minus 110s, depending on where you shop for this thing. So the cash has come in on Marshall. The line is dropped down to a pick 'em. And depending on the book you use, you're going to have some juice or not. The total is moving as well. We've got 69% of the bets and 63% of the cash on the under. And it's dropped down 2 points to 150.5. Guys, bear in mind, I talked about it before. I'll kind of throw it out there again if you're new here. We look at the bets and the money. Bets kind of are the entire soup, if you will. It's all the stuff that goes into it. It's the cash, it's the ticket, it's the parlays, it's the teasers. It's even some prop spots here that go into the bets and where those things are falling. It's the cash, the money, the percentage of the money. And those are the bigger bettors, or typically where, the $5 parlays, the $10 teasers kind of add into the bets. But it's the $10,000 bet that we're looking for that's potentially going to move those lines when it comes to the percentage of money. So we try to look at those measurements. Again, you guys have asked me before. I love to talk about it. That's something that, I've certainly added to the arsenal the last couple of years here, and I feel like it's paid dividends. Not all the time, and it's not the only thing we go by, but a nice little weather vane, if you will, to tell which direction the wind is blowing. And then ultimately on this Marshall side of things here, we've got correlated movement between the total and the cash. Then we've got a little spot going on here. It's my favorite. It's that take a shit team, essentially. I'll paraphrase it. We got a Marshall team coming off of a nice little losing streak. But in all fairness, the losing streak they had, Coastal Carolina, that wasn't one of their better ones. But James Madison and Appy State, crown jewels of the conference. Georgia Southern, we just saw what they did earlier today. Georgia State as well. And this one kind of falls in line with this little trend we've got here. When you got a team that's on a losing streak between 3 and 6 games in the conference, the opponent's off a win, which Georgia State was previously against none other than Marshall. We've got a 25-4 spot in favor of this Marshall team. And, we're sitting here with this number with a margin of 8. So I told you before, I try to find those spots with the margin. This one's got a beefy number behind it, suggesting Marshall should easily handle this game. Not concerned about the movement whatsoever. I'm just going to go to the money line, though. I think this is a good straight-up spot for us. Minus 105 for Marshall. Plus ones, minus ones. I don't want anything to do with them. Just give me the minus 105. C-Mac, did you get a chance to look at this Marshall Georgia State game?
I did. Shout out to the chat, Collins Clips. Yeah, there's a couple 138.5s. It's a bit back a little bit. There's 139.5s, a couple 140s. Last game 139. Robert Franklin, my dude. Joseph Thompson is always. Jay Peasy. Yeah, Dodgers, my dude. OD. Jake Burns, shout out to all you guys. Talk Sports with JT, Voodoo Ranger. Great to see all you guys. No fucking way I want this game, Mikey. God damn. What the fuck are you talking about? I love you for going after this here. I can't back Marshall. This team's lost 7 or 8 in a row. Both these teams are very good. Both are dreadful offensively. This one, to me, I did look at earlier. This was a check mark off for me to play Marshall. This is a game they could get. 2 kind of teams that are even. I would need over kind of that 3.5, 4.5 range to back them. So good luck. I hope you get it.
All right. Well, I hope I get it as well. I think it's a nice little.
Hey, I I can't back him, and I back some shit teams we're talking about here.
I've been burned by Marshall before. The good news here is if they burn me tonight, there's not really anything left for them to burn me on except for maybe the CIT or something like that. So let's move onward here. I'm intrigued by your breakdown of this game here. You've got this Sam Houston La Tech game, and boy, this is a tricky little spot. You've got this thing opens up La Tech -7.5, and it's shooting on up to 9s with 70% of the bets and 93% of the cash on this La Tech side of things. You got a frozen total. 136.5. You got 67% of the bets and 75% of the cash coming in on the under. And yet we've got no movement in this game. And, if you look at these two teams, I'm curious to hear where your side is here. I mean, they're both playing incredibly well right now. You've got, 5 straight wins for La Tech, 5 straight wins for Sam Houston, yet a big fucking number. C-Mac, talk to us about this game. How are we getting paid?
Yeah, let's get to it. La Tech, obviously, been very, very good. This team's 21-8, 13-1 at home, and only 6-5 though against the number. I think this initially people loved it, but as soon as I saw 9 in the hook, they had me here with Sam Houston, a team that I didn't back at all year long that I have lately. You talked about both playing well, both here 1-5 straight. I've been impressed by Sam Houston. Have played on the road. They're only 6-9, but 7-7 ATS. Both red hot. I just love how they're playing. This La Tech team, I just don't know if they do enough. They're slow, and it shows by this total. We got a 136, 10 points. I want the dog here. They played them well. I was it already this year they beat them? I had that pulled up. Yeah, January 6th. So this is the revenge. They're expecting La Tech to win at home. I just don't know if they can win by margin here, and I just love how I was kind of high on Sam Houston early in the year, couldn't get anything done. And I've been backing them lately. And I love it. And maybe La Tech's a little bit better defensively, some of the numbers in rebounding. But Sam Houston's surprised he's been able to shoot the ball better. And I think they hang at 10. That's what I really want here. 9.5. I was waiting. I didn't get a 10 yet. But give me Sam Houston. I just think it stays under the double digit here.
Yeah, they got to win this thing by 10. And, when I was looking at this one, originally I was seeing that number and I was trying to make heads and tails of it because you got both these teams are top in the conference. They're both 11-3. So, when it comes to conference play, they're both, I guess there's a slight edge, if you will, to this La Tech side of things, 13-1 at home. You look at Sam Houston, 11-2 at home. You mentioned both of them on a 5-game win streak here. That just felt like a lot of points. And we've talked about it before. Who are they? But somebody might know something in this spot. I'd say take those fucking points. It just seems ludicrous to have a number like that for teams that really would have surprised you that Sam Houston comes out there and wins the game outright. I mean, really?
No,
it might be a little
not
bit,
at all.
But,
maybe a little bit, but they beat in the last couple. I'm sure this game's huge. And there's just some of these in these smaller conferences where you got to really love them in them at home to want to lay these points to back, because it's the number one thing that drives me nuts is these teams not covering. And they're very good. A lot of these wins, though, Mikey, too, have just been in this number. They were home at Jacksonville State. They won by 5. FIU has been playing better. They win by, 7? Just closer games. Western Kentucky, they lost. I was on that game, I'm pretty sure. That number was 10. Go back here, February 7th, when I was checking through this. That was a 10-point number, and yeah, they won outright. So just too many here. La Tech, very good, might win this game, but I had to take the 9.5.
Yeah, it seems like the right spot to be. Let's roll on for you here because 9 o'clock, you're rolling right back to it. You got another game that excites me to hear the breakdown on. You've got Howard and Norfolk State. -4s have moved to 4.5s. 39% of the bets, but 51% of the cash down here. So here's one of those examples where we talk about the cash flow splits. Lots of bets coming in on Howard as the road dog with the points. Yet we've got pretty much a coin flip on the side, and yet it has moved a 0.5 point in the Norfolk State direction. We're flying in the dark. We got nothing on splits for the total, 147. What the fuck's going on here? 9 o'clock, 1,885 tickets. Throw something out there. I don't even care if it's accurate. 147 has moved down to 146.5, though, C-Mac. And I'll tell you, 15-15, the Howard Bisons here, 20-10 Norfolk State Spartans coming off that big win against Maryland Eastern Shore. And, of course, Howard coming off a beatdown of Delaware State. But yeah, beat down Delaware State. Did you really win anyways? I don't know. Talk to us about this game. I'm curious to hear how you're getting paid.
Yeah, was it really big? Because I know one thing, the last 10, Norfolk's hasn't covered anything as of late. They've just been awful. That last win, 69-50, like you talked about. Good for them. This number's too big. And they beat Howard 65-61 back in January. These teams are very, very similar. Norfolk, I do have to say, has the better defense, which scares, like, in the end, a little bit better. But I love both these teams. Good free throw shooting teams, and they get to the free throw line. This total I didn't move on. I lean over. We had that under in that first game. This is the other one where I think late fouls, a lot of bullshit could get this game over. But I got Howard 5.5. I love that seeing here. It's basically down 5, 4.5. Number was too big. Howard shoots the three well. I just think they could score. They can stay in this game, want a little bit of revenge. This could be a dogfight. And I took the 5.5 with Howard. Lean over.
Yeah, I like Norfolk State. Whether it be last year.
I do too. They haven't been covering as of late.
That's the thing that's got me. They're 10-16 against the number this year, and I would fade him before I jumped on him. You look at that stretch they went through. Would they have 10 straight missed covers in a row before finally against Maryland Eastern Shores picked up that win there? I mean, there's some real bottom feeders in college basketball. Maryland Eastern Shores right there. They rival some of them bottom feeders, and okay, they got that one done, but man, it's just hard to put a number on them. I'm sure they went on that 10-game non-cover streak. I'm sure I got dinged up a few times along the way there. So not going to get my money there. I like that Howard side as well. I got the 5s here at -112s. I think are still within the reason. Yeah, why not? Why not even see the live?
Because when I see this here with these two bad teams, Mikey, I want them to score, and that's what Howard can do. Like, even if they're down, like 7 or 8, it's getting later. Like, they can shoot the three well. They get to the free throw line. Ton of makes, 17. They get 22 a game, 37% for three. That's what I want in kind of a dog in these lower scoring games where it can get up and down and kind of get out of hand. And sometimes you don't know what you're going to get. But I had to take Howard here. I think they hang.
Like it. We're going to close up the college hoops card here with the 9:30 spot. UIC, Southern Illinois, CMAC, -5.5. Down to some 5s, 61% of the bets, 73% of the cash. Kind of perplexing to see that number shrinking, yet the total, 86% of the bets, 97% of the cash. It's gone from 137.5s, and it looks like this one's kind of all over the place here. 136s, 135.5s, 135. So this number keeps dropping here, and this one probably is my least sexy of all picks. This is a spot that I like to hammer away on these teams here. Back-to-back losses for the Southern Illinois team. And you've got 3 in a row for UIC. But I think in terms of the better team and who's the kind of the top of the conference here, this is a Southern Illinois Salukis opportunity. They're great they're good against the number. They're 18-12. They're over 500 against the number and definitely on the positive side of things. Couple of tough games lately here. That road spot against Bradley, 86-67. Not their finest hour. And then Northern Iowa, 3.5 as a favorite. They lose that one as well. But it's the last game of the conference here. Last game of the season for these boys. It's time to show up or shut up. And I feel like here's the opportunity. These guys, they're not going to go out there and get the top of the conference. They're 6 games back right now. But, on the other side of things, UIC is right at the bottom there. Valpo and UIC, bottom rungs of this conference. And then just above them, there's that bag of shit that cost me money earlier today in Murray State. So I'm fading away on these bottom teams. I think in this conference particularly, it's the gap of the haves versus the have-nots to me that stands out here. And I believe the Salukis are one of the haves, and I don't believe UIC is one of those. I think they're in the have-not bucket. -2.5 on the road February 3rd against UIC. It was a tight game, but they won and they covered. And I think here we go. Yeah, the revenge factor's in play, but we've seen this number tick up despite this team not covering the spread. Suggest, I think, everything I need to know. It should be a Southern Illinois spot or nothing in this case here. And a -5 seems like a low number to jump in on.
Shout out to our guy, Coin. We'll hit these questions. Mike, you'll hit him in a minute. Mike, O'Brien Watson, Jake Burns. What's going on? Dylan, man. How you doing? Go, Mike. Go, Mikey. hey, I want this. You know what, Mikey? I love that you have your money on this. And they've been good against the number all year, 18-12, 19-12. This team has fucked me like you can't believe over the years. Southern Illinois, they're just that team, and laying a number like this where they'll just win by 3. It's just one of those. I have to stay away. Even this year, I'll take them. And they're a pretty good team. Their defense is excellent. I'd kind of lean under. You're not getting, the numbers, whatever it is, 135 around there, 136. I can't back them. And I bet you they win for it. And they probably win 62-55. I don't know. They might give you some crazy. And they've been better this year against the number in years past where I've wanted to take them. I can't do it. Get that cash, man. I cannot back. So I don't know.
Yeah, keep your money off.
This seems like a good spot, though. The losses,
Yeah.
And Chicago, we haven't seen. They've just been inconsistent, and they've really kind of just stumbled down the stretch. Whether they lost 5 of 6, it's been a struggle for them. So,
I'll tell you, I was tempted to even go a step further and get this first half at -3s. I see there's some 3s and some 3.5s out there. It's a little juicy. We'll see what happens as the night progresses. I got a lot of stuff out there already in play, but I love these spots here where you get that home team off of those back-to-back losses. Now they were home their last game, so I
like it. I just can't do it.
Start strong and kick some ass, and then if they do fuck me on the back end of it, then at least I caught that first half of it. So we'll see what happens as far as that first half, but I like the -5. We will rock and roll from there. Let's roll. I see Michael B says Lehigh -2.5. Why is the 6 seed laying points on the road to the 3 seed? There's an insightful question. I didn't look at that game too much, C-Mac. Did you have any looks at that?
I didn't. I couldn't have Lehigh. In the end, and Lafayette's just been one of those teams I couldn't really back, even at home. And it's come down. I guess I backed him if I add the 4 early and maybe look at Lafayette. It's just been inconsistent. I stayed off. It's come down to 2.5. I stayed off.
Yeah, I mean, you got a ton of cash. You got 59% of the bets, 82% of the cash on Lehigh. And like you said, it's dropped a full 1.5 now.
Yeah, I ain't Lafayette or nothing.
Yeah, I would say you got to go with the points on that spot and call it a day there. Big O says, Michael, I saw that too. It's because Lehigh beat them last week at Lafayette by 8. Everyone's working together to get this cash. I love it. Love to see it. Let's get rolling here. Coin says, what's good, Mike, C-Mac, in chat? Let's have it Thursday. Got some Indiana under 228.5 in the pocket. Oh, let's use this as the old transition period into the NBA, C-Mac. We got ourselves a couple of games here. I don't know what you're thinking about here with this Nets and Pistons game, but I didn't have any action on that one. I stayed off. It's a 7:00 spot there. I would lean to the Pistons if I had the proverbial free bet. This number is super short, and the Nets are just beat up and injured galore. It just seems like, is it too easy to take the Pistons? I don't like that there's no line movement, though. 82% of the bets, 80% of the cash on the Pistons. Hasn't moved. It's sitting at 2.5 all day long in the spot here. That does kind of concern me a little bit. Anything from you on that game?
Yeah, I don't love that too. And this is where I want the Pistons. It's just how these teams have been playing out. You don't want to back Brooklyn like you talked about. This seems like the classic. This is 6.5, 7.5, just even a month ago. Pistons are nothing for me. I go to Cunningham here. I think it's with 8 of 9. He's gone over 21 points. I take his points over, or his points and I think it's assists. I forget what that's at. I think right around 30.5. Maybe look to that. I think he's got to be the guy. He's the engine. He's the man. He gets at least 35 minutes. So if you want to play in that game, look to his player prop. Mikey, let me hit this before the last. There's 2 games that I'm waiting on that are big games we didn't talk about. I didn't give to you because I took Oregon at 1.5. It's too far gone. That's quick. And the other one's UCLA. I want a 10. Now that I never bet this game and I've waited all day, if I get a 10, I'm going to move on it. Arizona is that good, is red hot. I think they were 14 of 26 from 3 their last game against Oregon, and they shot 62% from the field. Classic spot. I mean, Arizona's very, very good, but I kind of, now that I could wait and maybe get 10, that's a lean for me with UCLA. I just want to hit that up. A couple questions.
I'll tell you what, I love that UCLA spot there. I was talking about that earlier today. You kind of got a unique spot where it's the ranked team, this is the same situation that we had UCF in last night. They had a ranked game. Now they got another ranked game, and they're in that margin between 8 and 10 points, or the spread between 8 and 10 points. This game's almost identically profiled in total, everything top to bottom in this spot. It was sweaty at the end, but UCLA, I love that spot.
And this could be sweaty. UCLA struggles to score. They're going to have to lean on their defense, and this has always been a problem spot for them, to go to UCLA and go Poly.
I like that spot too.
Yeah, it's just kind of a difficult one.
Brian Watson says, Jake Gunsel traded to Carolina from Pittsburgh. You know what's impressive about that move there? They were saying the Rangers were trying to make a heavy bid for him. And I've got 3 teams, futures in the East there. I started off with the Rangers. I went to the Devils as well. Devils are probably going to shit the bed. But then at the deadline, I added Carolina at 12-1. I'm sorry, at the All-Star break at 12-1 to win the Stanley Cup. So to see the Rangers and the Carolina Hurricanes battling it out there, we obviously saw Tarasenko going down to Florida is a big deal for them. Carolina just got real scary. Get ready. Carolina's already been a good team. Gunsel's got the experience. I think they need to kind of push him over the edge.
Yeah, I like it. I like the move. We all knew he was going to be moved.
He's going.
Probably.
It was just a matter of where was he going, right? Absolutely. Yep. Let's roll on. So we've got 7 o'clock. We do have some NBA action that I'm involved with. You mentioned Cade Cunningham, and I had put a player prop parlay together earlier today. Just as I clicked it at 21.5, they moved his line to 22.5 for his points. So you're on to something there as far as seeing the lines are moving. They're betting away on that thing. He should have a big night tonight. But I went to this Pacers and Timberwolves game here, 7 p.m. A lot of people got scared off with the Karl Anthony Towns news. I get it. This total 70. The numbers are kind of compromised because of the Karl Anthony Towns news here. 72% of the bets, only 41% of the cash on the Pacers. They went from +2 to -1s. Karl Anthony Towns news moved that thing 3 points there. Obviously, one of their key, facets there, their biggest point scoring guy. The total dropped from 230.5 down to 228s. We have 60% of the bets on the over, 68% of the cash. I don't think those are going to help us because of the cat news in this one, but I'll tell you where I did go on this game, C-Mac. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe it's because it's the first game that the star player's out, and I love to get involved in trying to I'm not going to mess with the side. I get it. I think this, the Pacers are probably a good spot to get this done. It would not surprise me, however, that Minnesota plays ball here tonight. That being said, though, I went to the total. I'm going to take the points. I'm going to go with the over in this game. It's dropped just a little bit for me where I feel comfortable with this thing here. The Pacers are 18-0 to the over when they're in that home spot there as a dog or small favorite up to 2.5 points. Absolutely checks that box there. And Minnesota 14-0 on the road to the over after a home game versus the East when this opponent they previously played had 46.5% shooting or better. So a little bit of a revenge stat there that shows that the effectiveness and the points in the paint the last time for Minnesota correlate to a higher scoring game this next time through. Now, the Karl Anthony Towns news is certainly not great when you're looking at trying to see a lot of points, but I thought there was 2 components to this one. First, the margin of spread cover on that over in that Minnesota stats, 22.5 points. It's huge. You take out 22.5 from Karl Anthony Towns, that's fine. You're still in a position to get this number. The other thing I looked at was Siakam. I had the Siakam points prop the other night. He absolutely died out there on me. He had, I think, a total of 8 points. So he's got to come back and be fired up to score here tonight. They're going to need to lean on him to be able to pull this one through anyways. And it was 227, but we start to see the ceiling. I'm sorry, we saw the floor. Now we're moving on up here. 228's out there right now and 228.5s. Did you have anything in this game? Anything you were looking at?
I love the mention. This was kind of off for me because this is low enough because you mentioned after the road trip and the last home stand. There's no numbers. They all would have gone over because basically they were 247, 239. It was 237. That gets this over. Like, so what you just mentioned, I was looking at that through that stuff earlier today. That could slip over. One thing, T-Will is one of the better under teams that play defense in the league. And one thing I saw even on that last road trip with the Pacers is they got to feel good coming back home because they kind of had some duds there. 102 against the Pelicans, and that didn't even get that game over. They're scoring. They just scored, 10 more points. It's over. Same thing with the Spurs. So that was a little bit disappointing. They should feel good. I just didn't have a bet on it. It was just I just had to stay off. I was going back and forth with it.
You talked about it with some of these college games too. These numbers that these teams are typically facing, 239.5, 244s, 247.5s on the Pacers side of things.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Timberwolves that you said. You nailed it there. They're just a slower type of pace team
Slow
out there.
pace,
210, 219.5s, 222s. This number's definitely higher on their side of things, but I also think you got to chuck this ball up a little bit more here. Knowing that your number one guy's out of there in Towns, you got to figure out a way to kind of fill that gap there. And it's going to be a couple of guys. It's going to be the old Moneyball situation, I would imagine, there from the depth in the bench to try to get it done, which to me means you got to spread those points out. You got more guys scoring here. I think there's going to be some alternate shot taking place in this game here. And like I said, I wouldn't be surprised to see the Timberwolves win the game. I get the Pacers. I get the move. I get why everybody's on it. There was a huge number that I had supporting a play on this Timberwolves side of things and fading the Pacers, but there's just too much uncertainty there. I did jump in though. Like I said, I like this. I like points in this game. Buy or be damned in this one here. I'm in, and I'm looking to see this thing go over that 228. Onward. Let's roll, baby. We got a couple more here to roll tonight in the NBA. C-Mac, I didn't touch this Heat and Mavericks game. I got nothing in that thing here. I know it's open at 5, 63% of the bets, 56% of the cash on this road Heat team. I've seen it both sides. I could understand it going both ways here. The question that the chat raised was, is Luka playing tonight? And I'm just going to pull up the injury card here. Did you have any takes on this game for us here tonight?
Yeah, I haven't pulled up anything either. Hit us up, Chad, if he's been ruled in yet. I want the Heat here.
Yeah.
Like it's like do or die. Mavs are just leaking oil. And it's tough to back them how they've been playing defensively. I mean, it's just been awful. Losers of 5 of 6. And it just hasn't been good. I mean, it seems like they're giving up right around 130, 135 every night. So I can't back them. In a game, maybe they get red hot. And you mentioned the Luka question. To me, like free play, any of that type bullshit, give me the Heat. This was a strong lean for me, a team that's playing a lot better. Jimmy Butler, has been playing well as late. Maybe look to his props in this game.
Yeah, I don't see Luka even questionable on the report. So for all intent and purpose, this thing's been buzzing like crazy here.
I think he goes. They got to win here. They need to win.
Yeah, they can't afford to drop anything else here. They got to pick these games up here. I do like this Heat spot though. I'm very much inclined to go in that direction. Setting up action elsewhere. You see the totals moving up. You guys heard me before. I love the overs and the dogs here. 229.5, 75% of the bets, 90% of the cash on the over. Expecting there to be points flying in this game. How about this Raptors Sun game here? We've got 9 p.m. Eastern. The Toronto Raptors traveling on out to Phoenix. A line that moves from 9.5s to 10.5s. 66% of the bets and 75% of the cash on the Phoenix Suns. The total's moving up. 231.5s on up to 234s. 78% of the bets and 93% of the cash on this over. And it's moved. They're showing some concern there via the bookmakers. Suns coming off a big win at Denver, 117-107 as 8.5-point dogs, C-Mac. The Raptors, on the other hand, struggle bus city out there. At home against the Pelicans, March 5th there. That was the game. Was real surprising in that game there. 139-98. The Pelicans hammered them boys out there. Any thoughts from you on this game?
Fuck. This game was just crazy back and forth. Real quick, too, on the Heat. They won 8 of 10. They pushed that day. We had them. I did. It was the Nuggets. And even that Bucks game was tight. It was a 4-point. So, even if they lose tonight, they could do or day for the Mavs, do or die. I think the 4.5 is kind of the only way to go. Let's get to the Suns. All of a sudden, we got money. It's moved. This is moved. Points going upward, where they've had 7 straight unders. All of a sudden, 7 or 8 straight unders. Here, Mikey. 9 of 10 has the Suns team that was kind of more of an over team until this streak. Raptors, I just don't trust them. To me, this is take the points with them. How do you not? Their ass just got blown out. They've played well in Phoenix. I don't want the Suns at all, laying this type of number, especially at home where they haven't been good against the number. It's just kind of a lean. Just lean here to the Raptors. What do you have?
I'm with you in the lean to the Raptors there. I mean, Scotty Barnes being out, Bodal's out. There's just
so much, yeah.
It's like going to score for these guys here. I'll tell you the one spot that jumped off the page for me. If you are thinking about the Raptors and the points here, maybe this gives you a little comfort. Teams that are strike between a -10 and a -15, which we have right here with this Phoenix Suns team, are 0-18 against the spread. They're losing in a margin of 10 against the spread in those spots out there, which suggests that Toronto could possibly be a live dog if they're facing a winning opponent the next 2 games. So not this game, but the next 2 games. So it's kind of that look-ahead factor. We got the look-ahead spot, and we're laying a big number, and they're just not covering those spreads in those games. 0-18, 9.5 points per game deficit against that spread. You're laying 10, and you got 9.5. That suggests it's a coin flip type of spot there. I could see Toronto making my card as I kind of sit around on this thing for a little bit longer tonight. I don't know. There's just nobody playing for them. I don't know who's going to score all their points.
Yeah. I think it's kind of a flip. Like, I think they could get it with this, or I could see them losing by 17 or something, something like that. 15-20. It's like, and they've been disappointing, kind of for me. I just don't want my money on them.
It's funny. Just 2 minutes ago, Fantasy Labs, NBA. Mavs will start Luka, Irving, Jones Jr., Washington, and Gafford. So Luka's in, Kyrie's in, the earth is flat, and Dallas is going to try to go out there and get the job done. So I think that was Kyrie that said that, wasn't it? Wasn't it Kyrie saying that he's a flat earther, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't.
Yeah, he's nuts. If they're not red hot, yeah, I think you'd still take the Heat. I just think that's the move.
Let's roll onward and upward at 10 p.m. The San Antonio Spurs and the Sacramento Kings here. -8.5. 81% of the bets, 91% of the cash. We got 11.5s out there now. 11 fucking and a halves. 236.5 where the number opens up. 65% of the bets and 70% of the cash on the under. And it's dropped 2 points in this spot here. C-Mac, this is a play for me. It's ugly. It's plug your nose and go. The fact that the number keeps moving makes me like it even more here. 11.5, -110 spot for me. I'm jumping in on these Kings, man. Or I'm sorry, I'm fading these Kings and jumping in on these Spurs. They got the home favorite off a road win as a dog. They're 1-15 in those spots if they were double-digit favorites the last time they played against the team. Very much the case in this spot here. Little potential Rabanga option here, but I think this is a good opportunity. After what happened with that Spurs in Houston, 114-101, I still go back to that OKC game for the Spurs. That was a big win for them in the Rookie of the Year battle, 132-118. We need Wemby to go out there and fucking do something here, but I like the Spurs here. There's too many points. Give me the 11.5. I'm rolling with these points. You think, am I crazy?
Sorry, I had someone at the door here. Wemby's out here, right?
Fuck. All right, I'm still taking the points. Yeah,
I'm just double checking that. I mean, that's what I had earlier.
Assie's out.
Or is he in?
Out. No, he's out. O-U-T out there with the ankle tonight. So he ain't going to do shit tonight. But I still think 11.5 is a big number in this spot. I'd obviously prefer him to be going, but I just looked at this Kings team here, and I made some cash off the Kings. There's nothing wrong with jumping in on these Kings. They had that nice little road trip running there where they were red hot. They came back home. They were kicking the shit out of everybody as well. But their inconsistency as of late now, and the fact that we've got these points moving the way they are, win one, lose one, win one, lose one for this Sacramento Kings team right now. And they've got Houston on deck and Milwaukee next as well. So they do begin a nice little homestand here, but I could see them gifting right past this thing here with the Spurs, and it's just going to be a few too many points.
I think so too. It's Spurs here and 11, and I think this could be the back door. And a lot of these games have been like 8, 11, 12 between these two. Kings off the big win. I just think it's a flat spot. But my favorite play here was a prop here. Devin Vassell, this guy, now Wemby out, Mikey. He's been red fucking hot. Take his over 23.5 points. I think he gets that. But or take him with Wemby out, which I even like this more. Take his points and rebounds over 28.5. I think he gets that. He's been consistently getting at all day long. And he's been playing right around 38 minutes every game. I think he gets right around almost 40 tonight. And we know this Kings team defensively, it's on, it's off. You do what they want. So take his prop. And yeah, I'll have a piece of the 11 with Spurs.
I like that look there. I like that look a lot. I think, I made some cash on that guy earlier this season, specifically in the rebound category. So
me too. He's kind of been banged up, red hot the last, week and a half, 2 weeks, and playing the minutes he should be. And he's that good of a scorer. Good, shoots the three well, gets to the rack, 6'6", 6'7". Florida State, baby. Florida State guard. Dan Vassell, take him.
Love the look there. Great insight from our guy C-Mac here, you guys. Thursdays, we get ourselves some C-Mac action tonight. We're going to get close to the end of this card here. We've got just a couple of games left in the NBA. 2 more games, 2 big games, though, I think, here. The big one of the night here, the TNT late night special. It's the Celtics going on the road to the Denver Nuggets there, reigning champs versus probably the best team in the NBA. Both coming off of some troubling losses here. And we've got a line that 52% of the bets, 64% of the cash on the Celtics. It's moved about a half a point, I guess, in some spots here. But, we're not really seeing much on the money line. The money line's moved against both teams. The money line went from minus 115 to minus 112 for the Celtics. It went from minus 105 to plus 102 for the Nuggets. The big action, I think, is this total's dropping here. It's dropped a point with 56% of the bets and 63% of the cash on the under. It's gone from 221.5 down to 220.5 here, C-Mac. I don't know if you have any thoughts on this game, but I'm going Celtics, baby. I'm rolling with these Celtics here tonight. 14-0 against the spread when they're not a 4-point or greater favorite, with rest coming off that loss spot there. I love a spot here for 14-0. Give it to me. There was a couple spots where they were a dog, and if they were in a small dog roll, then there were some 8-0s and 33 and 14s, but now their favorite that really kind of has gone by the wayside here. I still like the Celtics to get this job done. I think the line opened up the way it did for a reason, and I think they're going to want to come back there. We saw the pride they took in taking down Golden State at their home court. Cleveland, that next game, a little disappointing here. I think the Nuggets are going to catch the full wrath of these pissed off Boston Celtics after what happened against that Cavs team. What do you think?
Yeah, man, I get it. I think Brown plays here. They're listing him here, but I think he's got to go in this one. And it seems like that was just that game when they last played too. Good one. Yeah, January 19th. He kind of came back and won that, I think, in that second half. Like he 102-100. Few of those games have gone over, but at 220, I have to be on the under here. I just think two of the better efficient offenses, but two of the better defenses. These teams don't play fast either. They kind of want to, do their thing, walk it up. They get what they want. But I think playoff style atmosphere, I have to be on the under in this game. And I think the numbers are right. And some of the past, like even that last game, 102-100, that's when they were just playing a ton of overs, both these teams, and it was way, way under. So I got 221. So I got this under here.
Under 221 for our guy C-Mac here. And I'll go one more for you guys. I jumped in on a player prop. I kind of mentioned it at the start of the show here. One of the ones I wanted to get involved with here early, and it's been kind of bouncing around. It started off sitting around plus 160s. It shot all the way up to plus 200. It's now come back here. It looks like the current number I see is plus 180. The Joker triple-double. Got to go to my guy Joker to get this triple-double. This is a big fucking game. If you're not ready for this game, then what the hell are you doing? And not only is it a big game, right? They got to count on this guy to get the job done. He averages 25.9 points a game, 12.3 rebounds, 9.1 assists, and he's gone, 3 straight games without getting the triple-double. 3 of his last 4 games, I believe, is the number that he's missed out on. The guy's been averaging them all season, and all of a sudden, here we go. This is a huge game right now. Big TNT highlight spot. I think he wants to show up and ball out. I was a little nervous when it shot up to plus 200. But now we're seeing it come back to this plus 180. I'm jumping in on that thing as well. That's a full buy spot for me on the Joker triple-double. I love the spot. I love the non-correlation here as well. The fact that I think Boston gets the job done. The triple-double for me, I think that's going to feed into your under. I mean, he's going to get points regardless. It's just what does the rest of the team do? And I think the rebound opportunities there to limit some of them second chance opportunities. It's going to make us cash, I think, all around on this thing. So love your under. I'm jumping in on Boston, and I went with the Joker triple-double. That brings us into the last game, C-Mac. We're down to the last one. Speaking of that aforementioned Golden State Warriors team here, here's a last-minute ad for me. We've got the Bulls and the Warriors, last game of the night, 10 p.m. Eastern. This line opens up at 6.5. It's moved to 8. So we have 79% of the bets and 83% of the cash on Golden State. The total opens at 223. 69% of the bets, 78% of the cash. And it really hasn't moved. Really has not moved. Of course, we know this Golden State team in their position right now, coming off that big win against Milwaukee, but they needed that win. That was after wiping off that embarrassing stink that was that Boston Celtics game. And the Bulls have been finding a way to win. They're 3-1 in their last 4. Any thoughts from you on this game, C-Mac?
This one was tough. I like how the Bulls have played. I had the Jazz last night. They needed a huge fourth quarter there in that game. And man, now this is just, it's out here at right around what, 8 exactly? Yeah, 8's everywhere from the 6.5. I kind of lean Golden State. I just love how they've been playing. Do I want to lay 8 though here? Not really. This seems like a game that you could see something late in a backdoor cover. Bulls as dogs have been pretty good and better as of late. It seems like a spot they could stumble on the back-to-back Warriors here. Play it or nothing.
Yeah, I went to the under. I'm officially locked in on this under 223.5. Golden State Warriors 9-0 to the under in their last 9 games versus the Eastern Conference. The margin, here's that situation again. The margin on those games is an average of 16.25 points to the under in those spots. So 223.5 feels like a good number to me in this spot here. You look at this Warriors team. Granted, they just played a shitload of Eastern Conference teams. That's why we're seeing it here. But under. And the Bulls, they're 3-2 to the under in their last 5 games, but they've been kind of gifted some lower numbers as well here. 217s, 222s, 223s, 224s. I'm going to roll with it here. I think we've seen this NBA under's been on a hell of a streak right now. I've got some reason to jump in there with some correlation between the numbers and the cash flow. I'm jumping in. I'm locking her in. C-Mac, give me this Golden State Warriors team under 223.5.
I like it. Even the Bucks, the last 2, I mean, they went other than last night, and that happens with the Jazz. And even that Cleveland game, you look back, that game went to OT. That would have stayed under with the Bulls. And this is perfect how the Warriors have been winning, whether they get 115, 95, so, 115, 110, 95. That seems to be just there. Now, this has gone down a little bit. You'd think you'd have a higher number the last few weeks than this 223, but I get it. I like it. Warriors been on an under run, and that's what they need. This team, wasn't playing much defense early on, Mikey. So they're revving up, been playing better basketball. I like the bet.
I like the movement from Draymond too. There, he's kind of been playing more of that defensive-oriented ball. There, he's been picking up the rebounds. He's been kind of adjusting to a role of not
just don't do stupid shit. Yeah, come on.
It's not the fucking UFC.
Simple with it. Yeah.
Well, shout out everybody in the chat here. We got through the card tonight, boys and girls. We got a couple of comments here. The Carrillo says Dallas Mavericks money line ? We think we're both kind of on that Heat side of things. We were leaning towards the Heat with the points there. If I was going to take a money line between those two teams, I would probably end up taking the Heat on the money line there. It just seems like it's a suspicious spot not to take advantage of that Miami Heat. But to each his own. I know C-Mac talked about that as well. Is that pretty much, am I paraphrasing, C-Mac? You're thinking the points with the Heat?
It has to be. Even though this is a do-or-die spot with the Mavs, I don't trust their defense. Yeah, could they, of course, win by 10? But as of lately, I think if they win this, it's closer to covering that number of 5. In the past, you'd look at this and Luka could just roll and cover it. But, man, they have got to get tougher down below. They've been awful of late, the Mavs. But do-or-die spot. Losers of what? 506, 67. I forget what the fuck it was. But I'd still be on the Heat. +5, +4.5.
Yeah, I think that's the spot there. I see Nunny saying he didn't get. I thought he got 7. I thought it was over 7.5, and he got to 7 for us. So I'll have to check that out. But that is the Draymond Green spot there that we had the other night. And Jimi Hendrix is back from the dead and in the house. He says, "Do y'all like the New Jersey Devils money line tonight?" Yeah, I do. I think it's a great New Jersey spot tonight. It's a little juicy. I mean, it's pricey. If you're comfortable with that, I would have to go to the -1 in that spot. I think to jump in on that.
Yeah.
C-Mac, I don't know.
That's the one thing, Mike. Yes, that was the only thing. It's just way too juicy. Like, you want to lay even -1 with the Devils?
No, I'm that's why I didn't make the card. I was concerned that at the end of the day, they end up going to overtime or some stupid shit, and they end up losing the game. So. Home favorites facing a non-conference opponent are 34-4 straight up if the total's more than a 6, and they won more than 42 regular season games last season. So that is a Devil spot. That is a 34-4 spot for the Devils, and they're winning those games by 1.82 goals a game. It's just pricey. Maybe it's a parlay piece. How about that? I'll give you that as a parlay piece and say, toss it in there with Vancouver. Vancouver or Minnesota or one of the other of those there. That's how I might kind of wrap that thing up there. But that's going to do it, C-Mac. We got through this, baby. Beautiful. We are rocking tonight. The card is in front of us. March Madness is here. Tell them what you got going on. I know Thursdays is the day to figure out the Saturday show. You got any hints for us on what's coming for us on the live stream on Saturday?
No, why don't we, Mikey, since we're here right before we bounce, let's check, because you do this on the daily. I don't know what the hell's on a Thursday, what's on Saturday. Here, what do you think? Georgetown, St. John's, Memphis, FAU. That could be a game. Arkansas, Bama. That's about it. That's our other games. I think we're going to have to go Memphis, FAU.
Yep. Yeah. I think
we'll have to go Memphis, FAU. The big one. Saturday. Be there. Gotta love it.
Bama, Arkansas looks like it's going to be a snoozer. Arkansas, although they did just play well against LSU, but St. John's, Georgetown, you got to go FAU, Memphis. That's the game everybody wants to see anyways. So that's going to be a lot of fun, C-Mac. Tell them what you got going on, where they can find you. We know Saturday is going to be a big day. Lay it on them, my guy. Floor is yours.
Saturdays, just be there. Sundays, I'm off. Oh, Sundays, I'll be jumping on at least this week. Try to get on as many Sundays as I can with Bavano. Break down the Sunday card. There's more hockey games now. No football. With the Ice Guys. And that's it. Saturday morning, be here, 12 Eastern. Man, it's go time. Gotta love it, Mikey. I'm fucking hyped. And now I just gotta win. Fucking win.
We did the work. We put the bets in. Yeah. Now it's just time to get that cash. Appreciate everybody rocking with us. Hit that thumbs up on your way out the door. I know we get a ton of people watching us now via X. Migrate on over to YouTube. Go out there, subscribe to Pub Sports Radio, and hit the notifications.
Hit the like. Become a member. All that fucking shit. Come on.
All kinds of programming rolling around here. Live streams galore. We live streamed some basketball last night. These boys do it on Saturdays. We got all kinds of fun working down the pike as well. Become a member out there. $9.99 virtual horse racing tomorrow. Members, gold members, $50 horse race. Virtual cash there. It's actually real cash in the virtual ponies from our guy, Jeff Slaughter. Go out there. You get yourself $50 for them gold members, and it'll be between Jose Bouquet and Jimmy the Bag calling that race, dropping off that 50 ducats for somebody out there, some lucky winner. I hope it's me, and I won't give it back. I'm going to take it because I want that $50. But appreciate everybody rocking tonight. Nanya, Justin McCalvey, Voodoo Ranger, Jimi Hendrix, baby. It's great to see you back. Love to see it. Rick J.
Jimmy.
Let's go.
Hey, Joe.
Tree in the house there. Humble Money Family. There's a new name I haven't seen before. And it keeps growing. Juggler 23, the Carrillo. Appreciate all you guys being in the green, being members, coming by and supporting us. Smash that thumbs up. And we'll see everybody again back here tomorrow. Last call, 6 p.m. Monday to Friday. Pub Sports Radio. Shout out to C-Mac. Shout out to D. Get that cash. Good luck with your bets, baby. Stay pumped.
Get it. Be pumping!